Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm here to share with you the astrology forecast for the week of October 26th, today, Sunday, through this next Saturday, November 1st, 2025. This week is a pretty special week. Not only do we have All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos, Hallows Eve, Halloween, a time when the veil is quite thin. But we also have a perihelion with three-eye atlas, and I'll get to that um, object. They're calling it a comet right now that was just discovered in 2025. That's kind of the big events, but let's get to some of the the more mundane aspects that are giving us the energetic stamp for the week. So starting on the 26th, we have Venus sesquiquadrate Uranus. And this means Venus is in Libra. There's a little bit of friction going on in the 3D world, definitely at the start of the week. And that type of friction is really going to invite us with Venus and Mars, because the next day Venus is quincunx the North Node, and Mars in Scorpio is quincunx Chiron and Aries. And so for those 2 days, that's really this there's going to be some friction in the 3D world, as I was saying, but the outer planets, the North Node, Chiron, Uranus, are all reminding us that these challenges are here for a reason. That it's not just that we want to live happily ever after, easy peasy all the time. It doesn't mean we have to always want to have things difficult, but to really kind of be present in the moment, be in the 3D world, but not of it. And on Tuesday, the 28th, we have Mars and the Sun both in Scorpio. Sun in Scorpio, very much scorpionic energy this week. Hidden truths beneath the surface. Mars is trining Jupiter in Cancer. The Sun is biquintile Neptune. So that's going to be a time where we're going to have these sort of new downloads coming through, these new, almost like neural connections, connecting the dots, ideas and principles and ways of orienting ourselves that will probably feel like something very new or something remembered or rediscovered. On Wednesday, the 29th, big day for us here this week, and for everybody here on Earth. We have Mercury changing signs. At the start of the day, it's at the anaretic degree of Scorpio, which is going to show us some of the shadows of our communication. But by the end of the day, Mercury's in Sagittarius, and this is also the day that three-eye Atlas is at a perihelion to the sun, and I'll talk about what that means. And the changing of the signs of Mercury, Mercury's trining Neptune and opposing Uranus as it's changing signs. And if we think about what it means to have our communications in the mundane world go from looking for truth beneath the surface to pointing our arrow at the galactic center, remembering who we are and where we came from. And so it's going to be this kind of flux of knowing there's a deeper truth to having this realization of what that deeper truth is. On this very same day, we have, as I mentioned, three-eye Atlas at a perihelion to the sun. Perihelion just means closest it's ever going to get to the sun, super duper duper close. Three-eye Atlas is commonly called a comet. It's the third interstellar object discovered by the Atlas space station, and it's very unique and kind of a strange comet. And there's some Harvard scientists that talk about how it's 1,000 times larger than the other two interstellar objects that were discovered, and it's much, much, much faster, and it's coming much, much, much closer. That being said, it's doing a couple things that scientists are finding interesting. The tail of the comet has already changed direction. It was discovered officially in July this year, but they do have some evidence of it on some cameras in May and June, but it was discovered in July. By August, it was noted that the tail of the comet was pointed toward the sun, which was strange because that would mean that it was kind of going away from the sun. But just this month, they discovered that the tail is now pointing away from the sun. So that's something about its composition and what it's made of, and I'll get to that in a second. Some people are saying it's also maybe showing that it's changing directions. scientists have noted that they've come to understand that this object, Three Eye Atlas, is made of nickel with a certain composition of iron that has never been naturally discovered before. The only way that we on Earth know how to have this type of nickel is to make it in an industrial process. So those are some interesting things that are noted about Three Eye Atlas. It's going to be closest to the sun on the 29th. It's going to be closest to the Earth on December 19th. So this object, it's interesting because astronomers and astrologers are talking about it. And while I just gave you the kind of astronomer science background, astrologers are likening it to, if we look at the chart for the 29th of what's going on, it's at 22 degrees 45 minutes of the sign of Libra. And it is conjunct Lady Venus. It's also conjunct Arcturus. And to have this, when it's closest to our sun, have it be conjunct Venus and Arcturus points to um, higher downloads, or downloads from higher consciousness. That's the nature of Arcturus. And Venus in Libra is very much, that's been part of the theme from the new moon that I talked about last week, which is about justice and new ways of experiencing and understanding diplomacy and harmony and truth and beauty. So this is potentially very much a blessing of a remembering of who we are and why we're here. So that's kind of the big event. The 29th is when that happens. We also have on that day Mars in Scorpio trining Saturn. Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces. And so this is again reminding us that our 3D actions would be well to be served by what we know of in the collective. This isn't just I'm building a wall around my little fortress castle. This is really feeling into the interconnected nature of everything. And then on the 30th, which is Thursday, we have Mercury now in Sag at 1 degree of Sagittarius, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. And I mentioned a while back that Pluto in Aquarius is very much about a change of power structure. We're at the beginning point, a part of that. But Pluto in Aquarius is helping us to orient ourselves towards, instead of a top-down power structure, a circular, interconnected power structure. And so our communications, as we're connecting to the galactic center, are going to be upgraded, more or less. And then on the next day, there's no major aspects, but the 31st of October is what's known as a time when the veil is thin, where there can be, Halloween is typically thought of as a time for us to connect to the souls of our loved ones and the souls of those who have left their body. But it's something much more broad than that. It's about being able to see beyond the illusion of this physical world. And I would offer, with Uranus and Pluto and Neptune being very active this week, this is about energy. This is about reading energy. This is about understanding that this world is very malleable and that we are the creators. And so this week is a very powerful and sacred week. It closes on Saturday with Venus in Libra still by quintile the North Node in Pisces. And that is just such a blessing for our ability to have these downloads, these creative genius type connections, understandings about where we're headed. The North Node in Pisces is harkening back to some of the things that we may have learned in eclipse season, but it's far more expansive right now. And it's about being able to orient ourselves naturally towards where our soul wants us to head. All right. Bright blessings. Have an amazing week. Tons of love, and I'll see you guys soon.